Inside, outside, inside, inside, outside, inside, outside, inside, inside, outside. Outside, inside, outside, outside, inside, outside, inside, outside, outside, inside.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Friday, April 25th, 2025. This is The Drop. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Melas.
Podcast listeners, this is for you.
Next to him, it's the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Kerby.
Ayo.
Ayo. And over yonder, making the magic happen, he's standing today, so maybe the back's feeling better, super producer JD.
The back's back.
Yes.
I'm back.
Back is back. Yep.
Yes. Hello to everybody on YouTube. Joining us live, hit the like button and subscribe. Podcast listeners, 5-star ratings and reviews. And if somebody out there right now could tell us why Jeff Teague's podcast is called Club 520, that would be great. We thought it had to do with the area code in Indianapolis, but that's not 520.
Nope.
So make it make sense. Just let us know. That's
We
all
need to know.
Yeah. On today's show, we're going to break down all 3 Game 3s last night. We're going to tackle some NBA news, including another major award that was handed out. And we'll end with some rapid fire fun because this is The Drop. But first, we had a wedgie.
Woo!
Yeah, wedgie number 48, our second wedgie of the postseason. John Conchar getting fouled on like a putback attempt. So he went to the line, but it was a shot there for us. We count it. And that's 48, and we are on pace for exactly 50.
I heard this was John Konchar's second wedgie this season.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
John.
Thanks, John.
That's like
Pulling it out.
more than enough you can ask for from one guy.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
In a season, you give us 2.
Yeah.
You're exceeding
so
expectations.
nice.
Yeah, thank you, John. Respect.
Way to go, John.
Let's get into the games because we had a great one there in Detroit. An incredible atmosphere for their first game in a long time there in Detroit. But Cat scored 31. Brunson had 30. Knicks just beat the Pistons 118-116. They take the 2-1 series lead in a chippy game, and maybe we'll get into the controversy at the end of this game, Tass. But obviously some fun basketball played and high-scoring basketball at that.
Yeah. It started well. It felt like it was buzzing in there. It ended well, which we'll get to. Fun game. It started well for the Knicks because they got Karl Anthony Towns going. The big 4 all produced 20 or more points in Brunson, Towns, Bridges, and OG Anunoby. All you can ask for. It's very difficult to beat them. Didn't matter that the Pistons won 40-9 in terms of bench points. Didn't matter Schroeder's coming out and bombing away. They got enough from Karl Anthony Towns. I thought early, the threes that he was taking, he took so many threes early. They were like simply just catch and shoot almost. It was 6 of his 7 first shots were threes, so we're talking first and just early in the second quarter, all catch and shoots. And so I thought the Pistons just lacked a little bit. You could hear JB Bickerstaff actually thinking back in the inside tracks, hey, we got to guard that guy coming up. They pushed it a little bit, and it was simply just one pass and take a shot. I don't know why guys like Tim Hardaway and Cade Cunningham, even though they can't block Cat, they don't put a hand up. I'll never understand not putting a hand up on a 3-point shot, but Towns got it flowing. Even though he was missing a lot of those threes, he got it flowing, and those 4 guys just executed enough. I was worried about this team and when they got Towns, and maybe they'd be a little too top-heavy. But in a game like this, where they execute enough, it didn't matter that it came down to those controversies at the end. Those guys just scored enough points for this team.
Yeah, and there was a lot made, obviously, about Cat going scoreless in the second half of Game 2 in that loss to Detroit back in Madison Square Garden. And he did put that to bed pretty early last night, TK, like Tass is talking about. 11 of his game-high 31 in the first quarter. A lot of them, they're like in that weird transition where it's like he's coming up just behind everybody else. That one kick to the top where he loves to let it fly, and that's what he was doing, and knocking down a couple of them. They were having trouble sort of guarding him with either Tobias Harris, some foul trouble, and Jalen Duren at times.
Yeah, zero hesitation from Towns at all. He was aggressive all night long, like you guys are saying. He took 8 threes last night, 5 in the first quarter. He had 5 threes attempted in the previous 2 games combined. He was like our cold open. Outside, inside, outside, outside, inside. Second half, it was inside, outside, inside, inside, inside. Hit the recorder because I thought he really weaponized the 3-point shooting that he has pulled off in the first half. Went 3 for 5 to start, and then Duren had to come out on him, and it was just attacking the closeout from that point. So great stuff from him. Didn't let Tobias Harris stand a chance when guarding him, actually put him in the post. Maybe only scored on him 1 or 2 times, but drew a lot of help, got rid of the ball, and it was pinging around. 22 assists just for the starting lineup in the Knicks last night. They had 15 total assists in Game 2. The ball was moving better. The players were moving better outside of the ball, and they just played with a little bit more force, a little bit more togetherness. Like Tass is saying, they are a top-heavy team, but the top 5 guys played awesome. All of them. Towns 31, Brunson 30 and 9, OG 22 points, 3 stocks. Bridges stuffed the stat sheet, 20 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. He was empowered to work in the mid-range. Josh Hart, only 6 points, but 11 rebounds, 9 assists. This is what the Knicks were supposed to be. Our top 5 plays together awesome. Our bench guys hold it together, and then it's a close game. We go to Jalen Brunson.
Right.
He looked like the clutch player of the year last night.
That's right. Clutch player of the year. He scored 10 of the Knicks, 14 points. In clutch time when the game was within 5 points there in the final 5 minutes. He shot 3 of 4 from the field during that stretch and then went 4 of 6 at the free throw line. One of those, an intentionally missed free throw. And that has a lot of people talking here about this game. These 2 incidences at the end of the game that both involved Brunson actually that were a little weird. The first one, Pistons trailing 116-113, 5 seconds left. So they got to play the foul game. The Knicks get the ball into Brunson, Tass, and he catches the inbounds pass, around midcourt. His body appeared to be in the front court before his momentum took him into the backcourt. He dribbled it out a little bit, and then they fouled him. But you had Jalen Rose. You had everybody in that Little Caesar Arena going, what the hell? Isn't that over and back? Didn't he start in the front court, went into the backcourt? Obviously, Zach Zarba. Yeah, we had Zach Zarba on the call last night.
We love you. He
said Brunson hadn't truly established position in the front court when he first caught the ball. Rule 4, Section 6G. That's why the play is legal. Yeah. Yes, everybody knows that. Section 6G.
The momentum section.
So there was that, Pistons fans upset. But then they sort of got one handed back to them where Harris hits a 3. It's 117-116. There's almost no time left. Detroit fouls Brunson. Half a second left on the clock, actually. So he makes the first one. Then he looks over at the bench. I guess, hey, Dad, what am I doing here? Hey, Tibbs, get out of the way. Dad, what am I doing? Am I missing this on purpose?
Hey, Dad.
He does, but the clock starts. The buzzer sounds before anyone touches the ball. Very clearly before anyone touched the ball. So then they go and review it, and the officials award the ball to the Pistons, saying they had imminent possession, and they gave him the ball on the sideline with a half a second left and a chance to tie or win it.
Instead of just redoing the free throw.
I know.
Which was strange. But even the Pistons and what they were doing with the rebound on the first one was strange because they kind of went close to the ball and didn't touch it. But what's the plan? I mean, there's 0.5 seconds left. You just got to – they have no timeout. You have to shoot the ball.
Yeah.
Chuck.
That looked to be a – makeup call. Really? I mean, okay, let's just give him the ball on the sideline. But the Pistons end up giving it to Jalen Duren, which was a strange situation.
Why would they do that?
He can't pass.
The dumbest possible person to put that.
I know.
Yeah, he's not
Who's he going to throw it to? Jalen Duren? That's the one guy you would want catching it, and the one guy you probably wouldn't want throwing it.
Right.
Yeah.
That was insanity. There was nobody by the rim, and what were they trying to do?
A three-point shot was the plan, I guess, because it is 2 points, and chuck it to the rim, but it's such a long chuck because it's from the backcourt. That's a big chuck. So maybe it's a 3-point shot.
Yeah, surely.
Well, he tried to throw it to Cade. He threw it 10 feet over his head.
Because he's not a passer.
Yes.
That was a dumb play.
Anyway, weird ending to this game.
Just felt bad. He's like, we shouldn't have had the ball there, so I'm going to run a dumb play. Very honorable.
Yeah, Bickerstaff complained post-game about the over and back. What's the rule? It's the annual question. It feels like we sit here and talk about basketball every single year, and there's always a question. Well, where does he have to be for it to be an over the back? Because his momentum was going backwards, and they go to commercial, and then Reggie Miller gets told the rule, and he relays it to us.
Right, that he has an established position in the front court.
Yeah. Well, it really shouldn't have come down to that for the Pistons. I know I mentioned some of their guys bombing away from 3, and they did a great job. Schroeder was incredible off the bench.
Tim Hardaway Jr. was amazing.
7 threes.
Until he couldn't hit one, unfortunately, later.
All his shots, except for one, were all 3-point shots. It just sucked that you got a bad Malik Beasley game, unfortunately. Back-to-back bad games for him. 2 of 10 after going 1 of 8 from 3. He was 6 of 12 in game 1, so maybe he'll have a good game 4. And Tobias Harris finally off. He had 2 good games.
Yeah.
He was not great in this one. You mentioned him guarding Karl Anthony Towns. He was angry. 35 seconds left, which I also thought was a bad call. If we're going into the referee, we got to go into this. He had Karl Anthony Towns on the outside. Towns went past him, but he hooked Tobias Harris's arm. He was really doing a do-si-do, and somehow Tobias Harris gets called for it, which was really weird, and so he gets to go to the line and bang home a couple. But Cat was mad. All that to be said, a great fight by the Detroit Pistons to get back in this thing. It truly was. They truly feel JB Bickerstaff, and yeah, they play the way he coaches. They play hard. They definitely do, and they miss Isaiah Stewart to some degree guarding Karl Anthony Towns because he's sitting there. I don't know why they kept on showing him on the bench. They kept showing him over and over.
Yeah, they're just like, this guy wants to fight somebody.
Yeah, I think
you can tell he wants to fight
reason.
somebody. Yeah.
I guess so.
There's a lot of chippiness and a lot of pushing, and they're like, show beef stew, man. This guy will
fight. And Paul Reed, I thought, was awesome in game 2. I thought he was great in game 2. Not so much in game 3. Malik Beasley, I'm sorry, but the lights are looking a little bright for this guy. 2 for 10 in fourth quarters so far. He had a okay game 1, and then him going cold was part of the reason they blew it. I thought when the 21-0 run happened, he just looked like he completely froze up after getting the timeout and getting to celebrate there. Tobias Harris had 1 good half so far in this series, and he's looking like Tobias Harris. This was the first game I thought that kind of went the way you would have predicted things to go. Knicks starting 5 plays awesome. Some moments where things looked a little bit too big for the Pistons at times. Cade had a good game, but not as the most efficient game, and their shooters didn't necessarily show up except for one guy, Tim Hardaway. I did see him celebrating when they were up, though. I know that's frowned upon.
He was dancing.
Yeah, he was skipping when they were up in, I think, the second quarter, maybe 10 minutes left. You can't do that.
Who got shown more, actually, Beef Stew or Tim Hardaway Sr.? A lot of camera time for him as well with his
Indeed, yeah.
I'm with you on, I thought you really saw, like, the lack of experience, I guess is the best way to put it, for the Pistons, especially at the end of the first half. They really fell apart down the final, 3 or 4 minutes. Schroeder and Reed had that weird possession where they were they completely wasted it. And to the point where Reed then got it back to Schroeder, at the last second. Schroeder was pissed with him. They almost got into a little skirmish themselves. Then you had Cunningham getting called for an offensive foul. He was trying to screen Brunson. Then you had Tim Hardaway Jr. with a lazy pass that was picked off by OG. He scored on the other end. Then Cade got stripped by Bridges, and it was just too many bodies there. It sort of bounced off somebody's leg. Bridges scored it in transition, and then Jalen Duren, he chucked up a weird stumbling layup attempt, but he was 10 feet away from the rim, and that was obviously just bad. That had the Knicks up 66-53. Now, all that to say, Detroit came into the locker room and put up a fight, got right back into it, but it was those 3 or 4 minutes there, sort of similar to that 21-0 run in what was that, game 1, where it's just oh man, this is playoff basketball. You got to be way more consistent for as a majority of the 48 minutes as you can, and that they just got down huge there, and it was just sloppy and just mental errors, I thought.
Yeah, it stinks for the Pistons in that mental errors, and no doubt, but also getting games from Schroeder, who had 18, and the 7 threes from Tim Hardaway, and you still lose because Tobias just wasn't feeling it at the beginning. I mean,
he was in foul trouble too.
Yeah, he missed some easy
There's
shots.
no flow for him for sure. Yeah.
Trey said he only had 1 good half. His game 2 was good.
His game 2 was fair.
It was a Tobias Harris game.
Exactly. It gave you a nice Tobias Harris 15.
Yeah, and 13 boards. He's doing what he did.
He was good on Towns. He shut down Towns in game 2, I think, was his biggest contribution.
Yeah, that's true. And then in the end of this one, you just need something from somebody. And that's the problem. We know Asar Thompson's not going to put a lot of points on the board. Another guy who battled with foul trouble. And Tobias couldn't do it either. But but the other guys, again, supporting Cade and Jalen Duren, their defensive intensity just was lacking a little bit, and that 21-0 run was too much.
The TSN turning point, a massive swing in this game, I thought, was when Cade, the Pistons were down 3, Cade spun on OG. He made OG touch earth, and he got to the rim, but I think he sort of fumbled the ball. Cat was there to prevent an easy layup, but again, I think it slipped. I don't know if there was some contact. There was nothing called. Looked like he was going to score, is my point. But instead, Cat grabs it, kicks it ahead, and Brunson, he pushed it against 2 defenders back for Detroit, and still scored over Tim Hardaway Jr. at the rim. And I was like, oh man, like that was either going to be a 1-point game, and then obviously suddenly balloons up there right to 5, and then they held on enough at the end. That was big. It was a great play from Cade. Obviously just couldn't finish it because he had OG stumbling.
Yep, missed layups and shots in the lane are just free points on the other end.
Yeah. Random notes from this one. Were you pretty impressed to see some traveling celebrities in Ben Stiller and Timothy Chalamet there in Detroit?
Knicks fans travel, man. They do.
Well, it's one thing for like normal fans to travel. You don't see a whole lot of like superstar celebrities traveling.
They're
like
sitting
that.
behind the bench, right? Yeah. Nice.
That's pretty good.
Very cool.
Jalen Rose sitting courtside too. My God, was that guy in the game?
Knicks legend.
Holy crap!
Felt like he was a coach. It felt like he was calling plays, right?
I was like thinking like at one point I was like, I want Tibbs to turn around and tell him to sit down or something. Like I wanted them to get into a fight. Tibbs was just too locked in. Into the game, but man, he was like right there every time Tibbs was walking. It's like Jalen Rose is standing, he's telling him what to do, talk on defense.
Talk.
Yeah,
do it.
He was coaching.
He was coaching.
We already talked a little bit about I guess it was Mitchell Robinson and Paul Reed. They were bumping and jostling, and that's when Cat was that where Cat stepped in and just chucked Paul Reed.
Yeah, and then there was like 1,000 people in between him, and Collins was just staring him down. You're not getting through all these guys to get me. Yeah. You ain't gonna get me.
Yeah, usually he's looking down. You can look at Cat, and he's always like pushing, and he's but that time he was looking at his face.
Yeah, all 3 guys I believe were assessed a technical in that one. All 3 involved in that. We also had Brunson assessed a flagrant 1 foul. He did like the Ric Flair poke to the eyeball on Tim Hardaway Jr.'s 3-point attempt. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Nora was watching the game with me at that point. She's like, "You can't do that, right?" I'm like, "No, you can't do that
on television."
It's like Three Stooges type maneuver here from Brunson. It was crazy. And
Tim Hardaway Jr.
I know.
Took the hand on the nose
while he's shooting. But flagrant 1 after they looked at it, and then Tim Hardaway Jr. I think he hit all 3 free throws, and then they got the ball because of the flagrant 1, and Tim Hardaway Jr. banged home a 3. So that's a 6-point possession, I guess, is how it goes down in the playbook. But those are some of my random notes. You guys got anything else?
Nah, that's good.
Oh.
I love a Three Stooges reference.
You don't hear many Three Stooges.
Definitely not.
We got to play a cold open of Three Stooges. There's got to be some good ones out
probably,
there.
Three Stooges cold
sort of,
open,
if we're speaking little comedy bits here, I did love this Harlan exchange with Reggie Miller. It was late in the second quarter, 2:33 to go. I forget who it was that was like crashed into somebody on one end. Harlan goes, Thibodeau is waiting for the confirmation. They want a challenge. As Beasley took it, his feet were set. And Reggie goes, yeah, he was still moving. And Harlan immediately goes, his feet were not set.
Harlan was on it.
Oh my God, did I pop. I thought it was so hilariously delivered from Harlan.
Yeah. Harlan, they've got that. Reggie sets him up.
Yeah.
By accident. And then Harlan just always knocks it down. It was like earlier in the playoffs
so good.
When Harlan wanted to call a good for a Curry 3. He thought Curry hit a 3, and he goes, good! and Reggie says, are you tired of saying good? No! He's great. He just bangs it down. I did like hearing Reggie Miller call Karl Anthony Towns Carl Anthony. Always throws me off.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a Carl Anthony.
And then the official, though, I think when they were doing all the texts, it must have been Zarba. He dropped a Carl Towns.
Yeah.
Drops the Anthony and just goes Carl Towns.
That makes me look him up and wonder, is his last name Anthony Towns or is it just Towns? It's just Towns.
It's just Towns, man.
Yeah, just need to confirm when you're calling him Carl Anthony.
The man's name is Carl Anthony. And that is sort of really crazy when you take a second to think about it.
If he was an actor, he would go by K.A. Towns. I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Ask Tim Chalamet.
Or Carl A. Towns.
Carl A. Towns. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
My only other note, kudos to TNT. They played some Royce to 5'9" while going to commercial break there in the first quarter. They're always good at that, right? They pick the music from the area. I was like, oh, yeah, good stuff. I saw Schumann write, final thought on this, about this series, about this matchup. This one feels like a traditional playoff series. And he said, through 3 games, there's been chippiness, intense crowds, and again, kudos to that Pistons crowd. That was awesome. They were when Tim Hardaway Jr. had that I think he hit like sort of back-to-back threes there. That place went nuts. And then late game drama, as Schumann says, it does have this feels like a good old traditional playoff series here. And I'd love to see Detroit over the weekend make this 2-2. I think it'd be very, very fun to make it a best of 3. I don't know if it's doable because you're right. It feels like there's a lot of things that went their way in this game, and they still came up short, but we'll see.
Yeah, and no big fights, so that's a good thing. No. But a lot of chippiness. You mentioned Bridges' stat line. I mean, you could put in there his trash talk, which is very rare from Mikal Bridges, but he was yapping at the free throw line. He just kept yapping. I mean, throw in there. I don't know how you'd throw that in a box score, really.
Yapping.
Yeah.
Y.
One.
Yeah. There's a Y.
Yeah.
Like 6 Ys for the night. Bridges hit a 3. He always is doing his little point celebration, which he did, and then they cut to campaign, and he was just going side to side with it. That guy came into the league. The only thing he was known for the first 8 years of his career was dancing with Russell Westbrook, so it's good to see he still got it.
Yep.
Still got it.
And then what was Towns was doing his 3-point celebration? He was like a sweeping. He was doing a lot of sweeping of
You're
his
right.
3.
He was.
And I was like, has he been doing that all season? Or has he sort of like added that to the repertoire? I didn't really realize if he had been.
Yeah, he did it right after hitting a 3, and then once he got way back on defense, it took him like 5 seconds. He's like, oh yeah, I should do my thing. Whatever that is. And next one. I mean, I don't know. Waving a guy home as a third base coach.
It was working for him because he was pretty huge in this victory, especially setting the tone, like we said, hitting those 3s and then attacking later. And then Brunson just took over down the stretch. Good win. Fun series. Can't wait for game 4. Let's keep it going here. Thunder coming back from 29 down after Ja Morant leaves with injury, which we'll obviously get into and show you. But the Thunder beat the Grizzlies. They take the 3-0 series lead. Biggest second half rally in NBA playoff history, Trey. What OKC did last night. It is pretty insane, Ja Morant injury or not, to come back from that much in a playoff game and they get it done.
Yeah, and I mean, coming back from 29 down doesn't feel inevitable. But once the third quarter started going and Chet Holmgren started hitting 3s and the Thunder started turning the Grizzlies over time after time, you're like, they're going to do this.
Yeah.
They're going to come back and make this happen. It was a tale of two halves. The first half, Memphis ran on every single miss from Oklahoma City. They were forcing turnovers. Oklahoma City turned the ball over 6 times in the first half. Kind of more importantly, though, they went 4 of 18 from 3. Memphis had 11 fast break points, 11 points off turnovers. They said, we got to score before the Thunder get set, basically. It was working. Second half, Thunder still turned the ball over 5 times, but 9 of 20 from 3. Far more makes, and they were more attentive getting back as well. Memphis only had 4 fast break points, 4 points off turnovers. You got to think that the Ja Morant injury took the wind out of their sails at the end of the first half, but the Thunder just run so many good defenders out there. It was also a tale of 2 Chets. He was taking it to Jaren Jackson Jr. in the third quarter. 1 point in the first half, comes out, and he's just going at Jaren Jackson Jr., pump faking him, getting to the rim. A lot of bad communication from the Grizzlies. A lot of wide open shots for Chet Holmgren, even after he got him going. And then in the fourth quarter, this is the first time Zach Edey got played off the court. And he looked like the slowest guy out there. Chet's hitting his 3s. There's a play where he catches the ball, pump fakes, goes to the rim, scores after Edey is too slow to challenge him. Next time down, it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander gets Edey on a switch. Step back 3. Get Edey to the bench. And that was the turning point, right? It was like they're raining 3s and playing incredible defense. 13 turnovers in the second half for the Grizzlies. 9 made shots. Unbelievable. Their best, they bring in Alex Caruso. The guy comes off the bench. He's maybe the best defender in the NBA.
Oh,
still.
yes.
It's unbelievable.
That guy is a menace.
Other guys play longer. Other guys play more games because this guy's on the floor constantly. But last night for Caruso, 4 steals, 1 block, 7 deflections. Then, oh, by the way, he rebounds. 6 rebounds. He's defending Jaren Jackson Jr. as a 6'5" power forward, blocking him at the rim. 10 points as well, 3 assists. He made a 3. Like, you get hype with Alex Caruso getting a rebound on the ground and getting a timeout before the Grizzlies can force a jump ball. You're like, that's a Caruso highlight. Yeah, it is. He's awesome to watch defensively.
And then the highlight steal was the one that he just straight up yoinked it from Pippen Jr. on the wing. That was his 4th steal of the second half, sort of the one that wrapped it up. That was like the I think you should leave sketch, where it's like give me that burger. Yeah, exactly. Like totally. That was Professor Caruso. Give me that. That was crazy. But yeah, he was awesome. Chet Holmgren was amazing offensively. We talked yesterday, Tass. You thought when we were talking about the Rockets Warriors that if Jimmy Butler had continued to play in that game, you would have thought the Rockets would have still won that game too. Obviously we debated it. Who knows? But did you feel the same about the Ja Morant injury? Do you think the Grizzlies would have went on to win this if he does not get injured at the end of the first half there and actually can play in the second?
That's a good question. I still think OKC comes back. as weird as it is.
Oh, I don't know about that.
We've seen them in regular season games. I know it's the regular season, but that's what they do. I mean, they look at each other and they know we got to turn it up defensively for possession after possession after possession. Just to run until we go back to the bench. Let's frickin' do it. In February, they did it to the Miami Heat when they had that 24-0 run in the fourth quarter where the Heat were up double digits. I know the Heat give up fourth quarter leads, but they went scoreless for nearly 6 minutes against the Thunder. It was a great Wiggins battle. Aaron versus Andrew. It was fun, but that's what they do. They know they can do that. And so, yeah, who knows? The Grizzlies look like a different team after Morant went down. They definitely did. Thomas Isalo, their coach, basically said, we felt different. It was very different. The flow was not there. It's what Isalo is trying to get out of this team, and that's why Jenkins was pushed out. And the flow coach in Isalo is trying to get that out of them. There's no doubt. So, yeah, I really... It's really hard to say.
I mean, it's impossible to say. I think I would have thought the Grizzlies do pull out the victory if Ja Morant is playing in the second half because I thought he looked great.
He was
had
playing
15
awesome.
and 5. He
Yeah.
had some explosiveness to him. He had some pop to him. And I just think, do I think the Thunder would have got back in the game? 100%. Like it would not been a 40-point blowout for the Grizzlies in the second half. I think they would have got back in the game and it would have been close. I just think a Ja Morant playing, we've seen so many times a team comes all the way back and then they run out of gas because, that was a lot of effort to do that. And if you had your superstar playing there in Ja Morant, maybe you close the door. I mean, again, I'm not trying to take things away from Caruso and Chet and the Thunder coming back.
Yeah.
They are awesome and they've proven it time and time again this regular season. But man, that's just like the whole building went boom too. And we might as well show you the injury here because Memphis was on a fast break. It was a Thunder turnover. Pippen was driving to the basket. He drops the ball off to Ja Morant at the rim, and Lou Dort, who's getting back, he slips, he stumbles, and then he falls into Morant while he's in the air, and he sends the Grizzlies superstar crashing to the floor. And they reviewed it for a flagrant foul. It was ruled a common foul. They definitely thought, okay, he just slipped. It was accidental, and Ja Morant, I guess, was just going, for the highlight reel dunk. And obviously Pippen had that in mind too a little bit, just dropping it off. He probably could have taken the layup. And it was a brutal fall. It was the opposite of Jimmy. Jimmy lands on his ass, on his back, and Ja Morant lands sort of on his front, but really hurt his hip. And obviously, I guess he shot the free throws, didn't hit them, and then he hobbled off there. Not good sign when he took the jersey off.
Oh, yeah.
You're like,
okay,
he's not
even when
coming
he
back.
popped up from being
Yeah.
down, you could tell the look on his face. He was like, I ain't going to be able to come back.
Yeah.
But took the free throws because he had to, and then you could even see his disappointment in missing the free throws, shaking his head that neither of them went down. I still think that should have been a flagrant foul.
I'm sort of shocked.
No doubt Dort slips.
Yeah.
It's a bang-bang play, but there's no way to safely challenge that. Even if Dort, nails it, plants his foot, turns around and jumps, Ja's already getting off the ground. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a hit of a guy defenseless in the air, no matter what. So to me, that should kind of be an automatic flagrant. If there's a dude jumping and you take him out, that should be a flagrant.
Yeah,
automatic.
I have to admit, I don't think the Thunder would have been up in arms if a flagrant one is called on Dort there. I don't. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't want to obviously answer for them, but I feel it would have been like, okay, yeah, that was a scary hard fall. Accidental, yeah, Dort slipping and all that. But, just a common foul. But, I mean, the real part is that he just couldn't return, and I doubt we're going to see him. You think he's going to play in Game 4? I doubt it.
Probably not.
I mean, the series is over.
Well, now, for sure. If they couldn't win that game, which... Chet Holmgren said post-game that we got it all together at halftime. It was a football game out there, as he said in his post-game interview, and we figured out how to play. And so OKC went into the locker room, and Dagnall got him ready to go for the third quarter, and that definitely helped and turned things around, and that's what OKC does. But that hit, that was unfortunate. That wasn't a basketball play by Lou Dort. That's the tough part. Is it dirty? I can't say yes, but it wasn't a basketball play. You're running after Pippen.
Okay. He's trying to get back to prevent an easy layup.
Which is
you
fine.
are down 25.
Yeah,
so
of
good
course.
Hustle.
So he drops the ball to Ja Morant.
Okay.
So
probably
Lou
shouldn't have
Dort-
done that if we're being completely honest.
Yes.
I thought they were feeling
Ain't
themselves.
Scottie Pippen's fault.
Well, they're feeling themselves a little
His
bit
fault
because
of
they're up
anybody.
20 plus, and they had just had a huge fast break dunk, and the place is going bonkers. And we want to see that anyway. We want to see Ja Morant try and post or Lou Dort or any player for that matter.
Yeah,
but they had some highlight thoughts in mind there. Come on.
Sure. Yeah. Well, Ja Morant said earlier this season, "I'm going to stop dunking." Would have been perfect to stop dunking right there.
Do a Euro
unfortunately.
step there, yeah.
But the ball got dropped for Morant, and Lou Dort literally turns around, and looks like he's doing the Matrix. If you stop the tape, I mean, he's not jumping. He's
slipping.
Well, yeah, he literally just has to turn around, and he's in that position where he's horizontal, he's sort of diagonal, and he grabs Morant, and as Morant hits the ground, you could see he knows what he just did. So it's a dirty. I know it's not a basketball play, and that's why the flagrant call makes sense. If they did that,
I think he's got to let Ja go. Sorry, you got to get dunked on there. It's not really on you. He's got to let him go.
Yeah, there's
no way he could get a real challenge. There's no way there's anything that's going to happen. Best case scenario, he fouls him and knocks him to the ground solidly.
Yeah. When he turned around and went diagonal, he was like 5 feet tall. Like, because his position, he couldn't stop him in any way. He's tiny. Like, he was way down on the ground essentially. So there's no way you can stop him. So yeah, it wasn't basketball-y, that's for sure.
So you don't think we'll see Ja Morant for the rest of the series after that hard fall?
Nah. Yeah. Well, I think the series is probably only one more game is the big thing.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go to the final game.
Still some other things here.
Okay, what do you got, man?
Hey, 111-108 Memphis Ball. They had a chance, and they ran a dumb play. Tomas Isolo runs a screen and roll. It's Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr. Bane handling the ball. Dort and J-Dub switch the screen because they're like-sized guys. They can both guard both of those guys. Play completely peters out, nothing else happening. I thought this guy was an offensive genius. Taylor Jenkins got fired because they couldn't figure out the offense, and they had no plan there on the biggest play of the game. And then J-Dub has been awesome so far in this series. 26 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 2 3-pointers last night. He's got the favorable matchup in this series for sure. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander being guarded by Scottie Pippen, and Pippen is giving him some troubles for sure. Shai's shooting 35%, 25% from 3. J-Dub picking up the slack. He's got Desmond Bane on him for the most part, so he can just shoot over the top of him. Much bigger, much stronger, but we were looking for this guy to be a reliable second scorer for the Thunder. So far in this series, 3 games, 23 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 57 from the field. He's only 25 from 3, only 62 at the line. He could be scoring even more if he was shooting the ball well, but I think he's been splendid for them.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought him up because a lot of the love for Game 3 there going to Caruso defensively and then Chet Holmgren catching fire. But yeah, he was pretty steady and has been.
Yeah, other than those missed free throws, which is weird. He was 6 of 10 from the free throw line. They got to the free throw line a lot, as Chet was saying. It's turned into a bit of a football game, but the refs were calling it tight. And we're
both
seeing
ways, which he likes. He said.
He says
he's like, hey, if you're gonna call it tight, just call it both ways.
Yeah, whatever. Just do it, and I'll be happy with it. That's all he wanted. Although he said we were playing football damn near all night. Pardon my language when he dropped the damn. Respect to him for watching his language. Yeah, 33-26. So I guess those free throw numbers are going up that we talked about Monday after weekend number 1. That the free throws were going down in NBA playoffs games because now they're starting to go up. I would say that Tomas Isolo and the Grizzlies definitely have a reason to be upset. That moving screen call, that was a challenge with 4 minutes left on Zach Edey that got overturned. Dagnall said, challenge. He moved on his screen. That's strange to see it called.
Didn't think he moved enough?
I mean, no. I guess because he is 7'4", it looks slower and it looks more apparent. Like it looks like he actually did it. So that's a tough call.
Was it Caruso that drew the foul on that one?
Yes.
Going over the screen?
It was.
Him and Dort are
they're
great
good
at this,
at
falling when they go over screens.
Yeah.
They go over everyone so hard that some of them are going to look like offensive fouls.
Yeah, they love the contact, so they're
so
up
good
in
at
these
it,
guys, and then, for sure.
And you could see it is Edey's first time in the postseason, so even after that, he had a jump ball situation with Lou Dort, right, where he smacked Lou Dort in the face and got called for it. So he was frustrated. He was mad. That being said, it is good experience for him, obviously. So we'll see what the Grizzlies are next season because it doesn't look like they're going to be playing much longer, unfortunately.
All right, well, the final game from last night, obviously this series had been pretty incredible through 2 games, but we had a blowout last night in Game 3. Kawhi and Harden leading the Clippers past the Nuggets 117-83. Denver led early in this game. They were up 7
Indeed,
in the first quarter, but then the Clippers caught fire. They went on a 23-2 run over the end of the first quarter and the start of the second. And we can go through the actual run if you want to, but it was a lot of Harden. A whole lot of James Harden.
It was.
Hitting three-pointers. You had some sloppy play by the Nuggets on the other end. Jokic had a turnover, and there was a lot of guys jacking up threes, like way too early in the shot clock. But, man, I thought the Clippers had the Nuggets defense scrambling, and communication was poor. There's that one clip going around. It was before the 23-2 run. But you had Kawhi posting up Jamal Murray on the block. Okay, here comes Michael Porter Jr. to help. Smart. Jamal Murray needs that on Kawhi on the block. They forced Kawhi to give up the ball up top, and then Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. both turn around and run away from Kawhi. They both leave him because there's no communication. Kawhi looks around, goes to the three-point line to give it right back to him, and he hits a wide-open three. That was sort of summed up the defense or the lack of defense from the Nuggets in this game. It's just and credit to the Clippers, again, had them moving all over the place, but just they have no cohesion defensively on that end. And it was just three-pointer after three-pointer there early.
The Nuggets really don't have an answer for either of the main ball handlers for the Clippers. Harden is killing in this series. He only had 20 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists last night, but only 1 turnover. Hit 3 threes. You mentioned how big he was. That run at the end of the first quarter was a 16-2 run to end the first quarter, and it mostly came after Kawhi Leonard subbed out. Of those 16 points, 11 were Harden. He also assisted on a three-pointer as well. He had his hand in 14 of those 16 points. Kawhi took over at the start of the second quarter, keyed the 7-0 run. Harden checks back in after 6 minutes. Immediate 13-3 run when he's out there. He scored 7 of those in 3 games so far. 23 points per game, 9 assists, averaging 2 turnovers per game, 0 stinkers for James Harden, and they just don't have anybody who can guard him. It's like you can try Christian Brown on him, but he's a little bit too small. They have Jokic and drop a lot of the times, and that's just inviting Harden to pull up for a mid-range jumper or get to his floater. He's playing really, really well, and the Nuggets on the other end are just kind of falling apart. Michael Porter Jr. was playing with one arm last night. Russell Westbrook had to leave this game because he had inflammation in his left foot, I believe. Peyton Watson got played off the court in this one. They had 8 guys this series. That's 3 of them who are question marks, I think, going forward.
Ooh, inflammation in the foot, huh? Is it grout toe? What's going on with the
He's
foot?
got gout? Uh-oh. The rich man's disease. He's made a lot of money in his career.
Yes. Kawhi Leonard has played 3 games in this postseason. He's playing games. That's more than last year. He only played 2. That's more than the year before where he only played 2. That's more than the year before that where he didn't play 1. So it's too early. It's too early to call them a contender. But it sure feels like this series is over. The Nuggets don't have life. They truly do not have life. When Michael Malone was fired, owner Josh Kroenke said, "We're just trying to get something out of this season." He knew it. They all knew it, that the Nuggets were not playing defense. Yeah, they don't have an answer for Harden. They keep on switching. They just don't have fight. They don't have scrappiness. They don't have it together. They've been bad defensively all season. And they were trying to throw in David Adelman to say, do something, help us out, get us some energy. And they did for a few games. But now it's sort of back to exactly what they were. And I don't know if it's David Adelman saying Aaron Gordon to the bench, which Michael Malone did earlier this season when Aaron Gordon came back from an injury. And I say that because the non-Jokic minutes are bad. They went on that run, the Clippers did, when the Nuggets had to go to their bench. And Harden stuck with the Clippers starter bench, and they just destroyed them. They destroyed them. Ben Simmons was playing Nikola Jokic well defensively. That he had a 9-minute run in this game, but Ty Lue has got everything working for that bench. Ben Simmons, as I said, it doesn't matter that he had 0 points, or did he have a 0? Yeah, he had 0 points. The guys beside him in Batum and Derek Jones Jr. splashing threes. Yeah, they've got things working. It just feels like the Nuggets are done. When you have Nikola Jokic and you score, is it 83 they scored last night? Yeah, 83 in a playoff game. I know the Intuit Dome's a tough place to play, but you got to score more than 83 points. They're dead. They don't have it.
You think this one's a wrap?
I think so.
it will have to. It's gonna have to be like, and it may not even be enough if he does it because we've seen him do it before. Like Jokic has to be so greedy here and put so much pressure on Zoo. They got to get him off the floor if they can, get him in foul trouble. Like we're going to have to see Jokic like the 45 to 50 point games with the 18 boards and then like 13 assists. Like it's gonna be those type of games I think for them to pull this off. And even then, I'm not convinced that it still comes in a victory. He could do that in Game 4 is my point. And they could still lose because not getting a whole lot else from anyone. And they just can't stop them. The Clippers right now, balance is like, ooh, this is a nice-ass balance. Got Zoo. You can always go to Zoo on the block. He had a beauty little left-hand hook shot during that run when like Pickett was on him. He's like, are you kidding me? Easy money. He
a
had
lot
nice
of talk
little
about
tip-in.
Zubats' left-handed hook shot
Yeah,
last night.
yeah.
A lot of lefty talk.
And then you
He's
talked
been
about
working on it with that guy.
Yeah, you talked about
They showed him. I don't know his name.
You talked about Harden obviously like loving the matchups he's seeing.
big
He's
time.
into a rhythm, either a step back three or like there was that one play again within the run. I keep going back to it. Harden surveying the court up top. Jokic comes to help out. Then Jokic turns around and retreats, and Harden walks right by Michael Porter Jr. for a layup. So it's like the help comes in a lot of these instances. They feel like, all right, our job is done. And then they're like, no, there's still 15 seconds left on the shot clock, and you got to scramble back and get to another guy, and these guys are going to attack. And then you have like Batum and Derek Jones Jr. hitting threes and stuff like that. It's like nice balance. And I didn't even mention Kawhi, who we can seen go for 39 in a game in this series. So
He missed
they're
10
feeling
shots.
good.
This was Kawhi's worst game.
Yeah.
And he still scores 21. They had 4 guys score between 19 and 21 points. Yeah, they just had the versatility. I thought this was Norman Powell's best game of the series, best game in a while. He needs these because he was injured for a long period in the regular season and didn't have that consistency coming back, which he did earlier in the season when he should have been named an all-star. But, he had 12 points in that third quarter when he had a sly move, and there was some good defense being played for a second, and he was able to get to the rim. That's a lot of points for that guy to be, obviously, your secondary, no. Tertiary, no. Fourth guy on offense at times because Zub is playing so well, and even Zub didn't have to have a monster game. Like rebounding, didn't even have double digits rebounds. What's up with that? Doesn't matter. They're deep, as you said. It's scary.
They're
It's
scary.
Yeah,
They're
like
scary
literally,
right now.
how is Nick Batum still this good?
Oh my
Yeah,
I thought
that's
this
a
guy
great
was supposed to
question.
retire after the Paris Olympics. Instead, 12 points on 4 threes, and he's like the no-dip king.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
He's celebrating before the ball's going into the hoop.
He holds up
He's
defensively
awesome.
still
Yeah.
too. He's really smart. Obviously.
blocks.
Yeah, he's so good, man. It's wild. They just dominate him. The good thing with the Nuggets, look, this doesn't carry over to Game 4, right? You chuck it out at 0-0, and you try and get the split in LA, just like they did in Denver, and then maybe we'll see. But what do you think of the Clippers super fans that were sitting in the wall wearing horse hats to, I guess, try and mock Jokic's love of horses? Here's the tweets that were going around. But it worked in the sense that you won, and Jokic had a very quiet triple-double, but it's just a weird strategy. It's like, hey, that guy loves horses. Let's dress his horses. I guess distract him?
Yeah, they're like, he's going to love this so much. But he was like, those aren't real horses. I didn't realize that the Clippers actually handed these out. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, in the wall there.
Are they branded? Like on the back? Is there a Clippers logo?
I don't think so.
Wow.
But you can see a couple rows of them,
That's
yeah.
amazing. That means there was somebody who works for the Clippers who, day of, they're like, you gotta go get 300 horse hats.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like, no problem.
No, somebody had to make the call to Ballmer.
Yeah.
And like, hey, Steve, can we buy 300 horse hats? And he said, don't even tell me why. Go get them. Yeah.
Oh,
This is why this guy's voted one of the best owners and one of the best organizations. This guy will spend money on horse hats.
you can't do a day of. You got to plan ahead.
You're right.
You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Hey, I don't think
When the series was announced, it's probably
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like, oh yeah, we're playing Jokic. They're like, we better play the Mavericks or Jokic, man, because we got 300 horse hats coming.
you can't find 300 horse hats day of. But that being said, it's only 300?
I don't know.
I thought it's 1,000.
No, it wasn't the entirety of the wall. It was the first part, like the first couple
part.
rows. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
'cause-
closest to the Nuggets bench, really getting his head.
Because the wall is 1,000 seats, but maybe
Yeah.
it wasn't. But I know we make fun of it, but Steve Ballmer goes all out. This Into a Dome.
It's very funny.
It's fun. They went all out. You don't usually have an actual goodie when you come into an arena. You have a T-shirt,
Yeah,
you have
you
a
got it.
towel.
Sure.
Not a thing. You can put on a head like Katie Wingy did
Like,
there.
okay, somebody check eBay. How much are these horse hats going for right now?
Right, what do you think I eBay here?
Clippers horse hat. Game 3, maybe. See what you get.
But man, how excited would you be? Like, you're probably already like, man, this is cool. First playoff game here in the Intuit Dome. I got great seats. I'm gonna be standing the whole time.
I'm in the wall.
You walk into the arena, you see a horse hat on your chair. Giddy up.
Yeah. How about Jared Greenberg on the call? Dropped a horse neigh, I guess. He leaned into it.
Yeah, country boy Jared.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
That was awesome. Any hits on eBay for horse hats?
I see a vintage Sunbeam mesh trucker snapback hat. Nope.
Man.
I'm not seeing any horse hats
Well,
yet.
maybe
people are like, I'm saving mine for game 4.
I was just gonna say maybe this is hey, leave your horse hats behind. Because we're going to be here on the weekend. And it might be you or it might be somebody else in the wall.
Somebody else
Horse.
just throwing that thing on your head. Okay. Just share your scalp.
Okay, my question off of this was going to be what, like, let's say you're playing for the Nuggets in this situation. What paraphernalia, either an animal or not, would you not want to see? Like, that would be like, oh, they're mocking me. Or like, they know I love that. And now they're wearing hats of that. And like get in Trey Kerby's head or Cass Melas' head. JD, feel free to answer too. I guess JD would be some sort of pickleball related thing. Maybe pickle hats, I guess. They'd be like, oh, this guy loves pickleball.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I found the same hat on Amazon for $17.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, we bought a toilet hat for
probably more.
$49.99 or something. No, that's a nice hat, though.
Those are hats. I honestly thought that was a mascot head. Like you could put that, you could strap it on your hole.
Yeah, just
it is
down.
smaller.
Yeah.
It is smaller. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would get in your head? Do you have anything?
Mine would be a compost bin.
Oh,
Everybody
yeah.
wearing a compost bin.
Everybody holding like banana peels and eggshells, mocking you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
You can't compose an eggshell, which I'm having problems with. They're not decomposing like they used to.
What?
So you're saying you can't? You can or you can't?
I cannot.
But you used to all the time. You used to.
Yeah.
Eggshells.
Yeah.
Eggshells they're just not decomposing.
Are
not
you saying
turning into dirt.
They've changed the eggs?
Nah. I've done some research. Nah. I just don't know why.
Oh,
I don't know why. I don't know the answer.
Really, eggshells are not decomposing.
Anyway.
Okay, that's good for you.
Yeah,
what about
for
you,
me.
Trey?
How about like a hat version of what my head looks like? So you look out in the crowd and there's 300 of your own face looking back at you.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of like Jokic. It's like, wow, 300 horses. Is this good or is this bad?
Yeah.
I've always dreamed for this, but not like this.
Kind of like the big faces that teams do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's me.
great. All right. Well, let us know in the stream.
What
team
about
right
you?
Now. I don't know. I mean, I'd be distracted if it was like Luna, my dog.
Sure, yeah.
Like, you have 300 of those up there. That comes to mind.
Yeah. That's what they did with the Jokic. Exactly.
I thought you were gonna go like maybe a tie dye and some like Grateful Dead sort of angle, but
again, how about big like rainbow clown wigs?
Okay.
I just think that would be kind of interesting to see.
All right, we're giving them ideas there on the wall. Honestly, Memphis as well, especially when things were going well. 3 incredible home crowds last night, like coming through on the broadcast in Detroit, in Memphis, at least for the first half before Ja Morant's injury, and then at the Intuit Dome. Like it was loud.
It was
wicked. All right, we got some news to talk about. Evan Mobley has won the 2024-25 NBA Defensive Player of the Year award. He's the first Cavaliers player to win the award, and at 23, second youngest player ever to do it, trailing only Dwight Howard, who got him by a couple months when he won his first one. Mobley received 35 first-place votes, 10 more than the Hawks' Dyson Daniels. The Warriors' Draymond Green came in third. But this one, Tass, probably was one of the more wide-open awards that we had this season, and I think the vote sort of illustrated that. But Mobley gets it done.
Yeah, I think it's been years coming for Evan Mobley. He's been so freaking good the last couple of years. In this modern day game, how he guards space at the three-point line all the way in. If you looked at the hardcore numbers at how many shots he was contesting beyond the three-point line and the percentage that guys were shooting the last couple of years, it's freaking awesome. And it came down a touch this year, and that's why I think it was sort of years coming for this guy, because he was 5th in the NBA in contested shots, 10.5 a game. That's just good. I mean, it's not number 1 or number 2 or number 3. But it's good that it happened now because Wemby's going to, win a bunch of them after this season. So
And Cooper Flagg is coming as well.
yeah.
I mean, they're saying he's going to be an elite defender.
You're saying this record ain't gonna last for long. Youngest guy.
Second
If Coop-
youngest.
Yeah, well,
maybe.
Yeah, well, I'm saying I think Wemby will. It's all about staying healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old's Wemby at next year's?
It'll be what 22.
It'll be 22.
Maybe I don't know when his birthday is.
Yeah, he's 21 in 111 days right now. So he's been awesome, and I think he's been good all year long. I know the Warriors were the best story for a couple months here, but I think Mobley has been a little more consistent. And so
Yeah.
and
I mean, Draymond Green, he just came on too late, I think, this season.
Yeah.
And a big part of that was the Jimmy Butler trade. Like, they were the 10th ranked defense, I think, at the time of the Jimmy Butler trade. Once Jimmy comes on, Draymond Green obviously is unlocked a little bit more, and the defense overall is better, and then they were the best defense. But, we're talking, the deadline's not even the halfway point. Like, it's, sort of the 2 months to go there for the rest of the regular season. Yeah, Mobley, I'm with you. We always talk about this award as, like, it's sort of like it takes a couple years or two. You got to get in the conversation. You got to be finishing top 3. You got to get that respect and that love from the rest of the league, and then maybe you'll ultimately get one. I don't think anybody's upset Mobley got it here. But it was close, Daniels and Green and some other guys as well.
Yeah, the thing with Mobley and with the Cavs, I think, is that they're so much better offensively this year that you forget for both him as a player and them as a team, they were built on defense. Like, they're a defense-first team that figured out how to play an awesome offense by playing really fast. But the fact that Mobley can contest these shots on the perimeter, can be an interior defender as well, the versatility he brings, and just being able to stay on the court as a 4 on the perimeter while Jared Allen still gets to be inside and rebound. They both rebound. Like, Mobley has had an awesome season, so he definitely deserves it. And the Draymond piece of it is interesting because Mobley had a super buzzy run too. His was just so many months ago.
Yeah.
The Cavs started 15-0. They were the best story in the league for a while, and then they just continued to be an awesome team this year. And you're like, oh, yeah, we're kind of taking the Cavs for granted. They were a surprise early on, whereas the Warriors, more fresh in your mind because it's happening right now after the trade deadline. So great news for Mobley. The Cavs are happy, but because of Mobley winning DPOY, he might make All-NBA. Quite likely. He's going to be in line for a massive raise on his contract, which means Ty Jerome might not be a Cav. Sam Merrill might not be a Cav going forward. The Cavs themselves have said, yeah, we know that him winning this means it might cost us a player down the line, but, they'll take it.
Yeah. Mobley's max rookie contract extension that he signed last summer, it's going to go up by roughly $45 million over the next 5 years.
Chunky.
So it's turned it into one of those 5-year, $269, sort of $270 million packs. Not bad.
Just because he won it, which.
And all NBA is probably in play too.
Yeah.
So that would.
It's been a couple of years coming, especially because the Cavs, you said they were built on defense a couple of years ago. They weren't incredible this year for a lot of
No, they
season.
were like the
top
8th,
10.
Yeah,
They're
8th ranked defense. Yeah.
But they were first 2 years ago. And then they dropped to 6th last year and then 8th this year.
Yeah.
So it's been common because he's the guy. But he's grown both sides. But he wasn't nominated for most improved. Why I'm mentioning that, I don't know. I don't know why I'm bitter. But his numbers didn't have that drastic jump offensively. But anyways, he's just great on both ends.
I do think it was interesting. The Athletic spoke with 13 NBA head coaches and assistant coaches and asked them, hey, who would you vote for Defensive Player of the Year, first, second, third type votes? Dyson Daniels finished first in that small sort of sample size. He had 6 first-place votes. Then Lou Dort finished in second. He had 4 first-place votes. Draymond was third, and then Mobley was coming in 4th, again, in that vote that The Athletic did, asking some of these coaches. So Mobley didn't get a single first-place vote, but, someone within that article, an anonymous assistant coach, is like, he does a lot of things Mobley does that really don't show up in the box score. That's where Daniels gets all the steals, and he gets all the deflections. He's elite. Lou Dort, we know, lockdown guy. You go look at numbers of superstars. When Dort's on, you're like, oh, wow, he shuts them down. Draymond, we know as well, and has a great history of playing defense. But this was a win, in all honesty, for, it's not just, let's go into all those defensive stats and see where Mobley ranks. Is he first, second? No, he's sort of like a tier or 2 down in a lot of them. But it's like a lot of these coaches, a lot of these, obviously, NBA media members are like, you watch these games, he is impactful, like you said, Trey, on the perimeter and then at the rim. And it maybe is not always resulting in a steal or a block or something like that, but he's like the backbone of their defense.
Yep.
Some people have compared it to
Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tim Duncan as well.
Okay.
A guy that Tim Duncan never won one, did he?
No.
Defensive
No.
Player of the Year, despite obviously being one of the better defense players. So maybe there's some similarities. Anything else? No. All right, let's move on. The Bucks and general manager Jon Horst, Horst hats.
300 Jon Horst hats.
Just imagine 300 Jon Horst hats right now on the wall. There you go. The Bucks and GM Jon Horst have agreed to a multi-year contract extension. This is Shams at ESPN. He reported this yesterday. The Bucks have made the playoffs in all 8 of Horst's seasons as GM and have a damn good winning percentage, 647. Second best in the NBA during that span.
All I can think about is Horsts.
Yeah, man, it's hard to go from horse hats to Jon Horst.
Yeah.
But good for him.
Yeah, a
He's
little.
going to be able to afford a lot of horse hats here. Look, he won a title. He signed Giannis to 2 extensions, which is maybe even a bigger deal for Milwaukee. They don't look like they're in a great place going forward, but I do like that they have stability. We see a team like the Hawks just let go of Landry Fields after 3 years. The Kings had their first run of success in 15 years, and they're moving on from their GM. Certainly, the Bucks are not where they want to be right now.
Right.
They haven't won a first-round series for a little bit. This is a team that is playing for championships every year, but they're saying, look, we know it hasn't gone perfectly, but we still think this is the guy who's going to make us right. Will that be the case? I don't know, but I would rather go with a guy that Giannis trusts than bring in somebody new at this critical juncture.
Yeah, I think that's the important part. I think Giannis will look at this guy and say, he's tried. I mean, it hasn't been ultimately successful. The Dame one, the huge one, this past trade deadline, I should say. Kevin Porter Jr., very, very, very forceful moves. He's been trying. And now I know that guy. And so I think that's the primary Giannis Antetokounmpo thing that he's thinking about. And stability in the front office, it's never a huge issue with us. It's more so the coach, but it is extremely important to the players, I imagine.
Yeah, when you zoom out, Horst has done a lot of. I just straight up calling him Horst now. I'm dropping the T.
We got to tell Bryant. We got to tell Windhorst. Make something happen.
When you zoom out, like you look at what he's done as GM of the Bucks, he, way back got Budenholzer in there. And then did sign Brook Lopez and did sign Bobby Portis as free agents. Then he made the huge trade for Drew Holiday and then had PJ Tucker join them as well. That won a title. I mean, the Drew Holiday piece for sure. And then you said the blockbuster Damian Lillard sort of out of nowhere when everybody thought Dame was going to Miami. Now, it hasn't worked out perfectly. We're waiting on results here. But he's been at least aggressive in trying to build that roster around Giannis, and you said he signed him twice now.
Yep, that's good.
That is good. Yeah. I thought Doc Rivers was pretty pumped about this too. I don't know if you saw
effusive praise.
He was very excited. I was reading into it like, oh yeah, sweet. I'm still gonna be here. John's my guy. That's the horse I'll ride on. That's how I was reading those comments. But I think because people were laughing at the timing of this, he goes down 2-0 in a playoff series right now, and they're like, here's the contract.
Well, I saw a lot of Bucks fans speculating that Jon Horst signing this extension means he won a power struggle with Doc Rivers. Rivers is still under contract, I think, for next year and the year after.
Okay.
But like we're saying, the Bucks aren't performing how they want to. You wonder what happens to Doc Rivers after the season if they're bounced here in the first round for the 3rd straight year. Will he be singing Jon Horst's praise in June? I don't know.
Right.
I mean, he's definitely happy. They have a relationship, but I don't necessarily think that Doc is the guy to lead the Bucks. So maybe that will be John's first move.
Save a horse to ride a cowboy.
Yeah, exactly.
Or something like that.
Save a horse, fire a doctor.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's a new song. Save a horse, fire a doc. All right. Final piece of news here. A jersey photo matched to 7 games in Kobe Bryant's 96-97 rookie season for the Lakers, including his regular season debut way back on November 3rd, 96. Sold for $7 million at Sotheby's on Thursday. The jersey last sold, forget this, just $115,000 at auction in 2012. So what? That's 13 years later, from $115,000 to a cool $7 million. Tass. This is a new record for any Kobe Bryant sports collectible. Pretty wild. It's also the 4th most expensive game-worn sports jersey of all time. Behind, you guys want to guess? The most expensive game-worn sports jerseys, not just basketball.
Michael Jordan.
Okay, that's second. Jordan's $10.1 million Last Dance jersey. That was second. You can get these other two.
Who else would be in the mix?
Where are we going?
Tom Brady?
You're going to the diamond and you're going to the pitch. So not football.
Oh, okay.
Is
Messi?
No, not Messi.
Ronaldo.
You got to go. No, you got to go older than Messi.
Pele?
It's a famous goal, not Pele.
Maradona.
There you go.
the
Maradona's
hand of
Hand of
God.
God, Argentina
Baseball.
jersey
Baseball's the
from
question.
'86 World Cup. That went for $9.3 million. The Maradona. This one went for $24 million.
It's baseball.
Yeah. So
It's game worn,
yes.
not game used.
and you
Is
almost
it
say
ancient?
Oh, it's ancient.
The guy's
It's old. Yes.
George Herman Ruth.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Babe himself.
George.
The called shot
Gotta
jersey.
go. Yeah.
$24 million.
Wow.
Yeah, not nuts.
How'd they photo match that one?
I know, eh?
It's like anybody's
It's like,
jersey.
oh, he's got a little, I don't know, a little pine tar right
Maybe
there.
a little tar.
I guess that's how they do it.
Probably.
Like this one, the Kobe one had, I don't know when it happened, but he had like a little blood on it
blood,
or
yeah.
something. Because he wore it in, like I said, 7 games. He wore it in his first preseason game. He wore it in his first regular season game. And he wore it in his like NBA Media Day sort of photos. So that's a pretty iconic jersey. Okay, that's it for news. Let's do some rapid fire questions. Tass, you're going to throw them at us this week. We got your answers.
Well, this week on TNT, Shaquille O'Neal got up during the show and shuffled off because he needed to go to the bathroom immediately. The shuffling was really funny. Anyway, here's some inside information from No Dunks. Shaq was sitting on a toilet 6 times a day, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Those
Our
days.
sources were telling
That's
us this.
that's what they're
Our
saying.
inside sources.
Shaq was on a toilet a lot. One of the times during the show. Anyways, tell us about a time you've been in an emergency tummy situation, Skeets.
I've shared a lot of my poop stories on this podcast before.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
two
yeah.
notable ones were way back in the day in Dominican Republic, where I thought, there's no way I can get on this plane home. Like I was holed up in a hotel room for 2 days because of something I ate or the water or whatever.
What year was that?
Oh, way back.
Way
Just
back.
me and North.
Wasn't 2011.
No, it was even prior to that.
When JD was there.
Yeah,
JD
not that
had
one.
JD had a problem.
Not that one. And then I've told you the story where I
his story.
started. I guess it was a half marathon in the porta potty, like I was Shaq.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I busted out.
yeah.
I told that one not long ago.
remember
So I'll
that.
give you a third one that Nora reminded me of.
There we go.
And it involves Trey. I had just gotten Luna. We hadn't had her very long. No, it involves you. You were still at Bass Lofts. I took Nora somewhere in Inman Park, a neighborhood here in Atlanta. And while she was doing whatever she was doing, I was walking our young puppy at the time, Luna, around. And I don't know, your boy had to go. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I didn't feel comfortable, like, going into a store and leaving my basically brand new puppy, like, outside or whatever. So I texted you. I said, hey, are you at home? You're like, yeah, I'm here. I'm like, I got to use your crapper, man. And you got to watch the dog for a second. Do you remember this?
No.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I, like, hustled over to your place. And I'm like, here, watch the dog. And I blew up your bathroom. So apologies for that. But
No, that's awesome. I'm
yeah,
glad that happened,
So
actually.
that's my tummy situation.
That's great.
Is it great?
Yeah, there's always new stories. Always. Never fail.
It's always a new one.
Trey.
I'm with you, Skeets. I've told a lot of them.
Yeah.
I just had my Great Wolf Lodge experience. The sickest Laura has seen me in our 18 years together. I've told you guys about the time I had to put paper towels in the back of my pants because we were going on a show where we were going to be talking about Joel Embiid having tummy troubles, and I had the same. You know about the time I wore white pants to a group dinner
Yep.
in Summer League.
Yeah.
So I think the earliest time I remember pooping my pants is in 4th grade on the bus home. Thought I could make it.
Oh, my God.
Made it into the subdivision.
Okay.
And then
And then you went.
pooped on my backpack wearing sweatpants. Pooped on my backpack wearing sweatpants. Sitting in the back.
Did anybody else see it, or did?
I don't know if they seen it, but they smelled it.
Oh, yeah.
It smelled
course.
so bad. I feel like I can remember the scent in my nose. The sour smell. I feel like I can remember what it looked like on my
Wow.
backpack.
Oh my God!
Honestly, a formative experience.
Yeah, that could have. I'm surprised that didn't change the trajectory of your life. Like you said, 4th grade. Like kids can be obviously mean. That could literally stick with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I dodged
How'd you shake that one?
Well, I wiped first. And then,
Right.
Man, I didn't know we were going in this direction when I asked these questions. I didn't know that we were
Tummy
getting.
situations?
Well,
You started
the
with
wording
Shaq sitting on the shitter 6 times a day.
I didn't say.
What did you
I didn't say.
expect?
It did not say you. Name me a time that you sat on a toilet. It could go anywhere. So I didn't expect. Tell us about a time you've been in an emergency tummy situation. I mean, it could be anywhere. It could be anywhere. It could be anybody's tummy situation. I just thought.
What? How does that make sense? Tell us a time of you've been in an emergency tummy situation.
Well, it's in an emergency situation. I mean, somebody else could be pooping around you.
Okay.
Oh, okay. We got to pull over.
Anyway, I just didn't know. I just didn't know we were going
delete
direction.
this tape then. We didn't understand that.
Yeah, I want to
No,
save
no.
that story.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just didn't think we'd get the replay of some, but these are new. I've never heard this
Hey,
one.
man.
Hey, man,
We don't mail it in on rapid fire for
No.
sure. We'll give you another poop story.
JD, what do you got?
Mine's a personal poop story. Sorry, Taz.
Please don't apologize.
Yeah,
I just didn't expect it.
It was back. We were shooting our very first pick and payoff outside the Air Canada Centre. Was that the first one we did, or was the Shark the first one? Anyways, it was pick and payoff, early days.
Yeah, Vince Carter.
Vince Carter was returning with at that time the New Jersey Nets,
That's right.
I believe.
Yeah.
And Tass lost, so he had to wear a Vince Carter jersey, who was hated at the time in Toronto.
Yeah, that was
and
good.
basically just hype up Vince as fans were walking in. He got slapped once. He got verbally abused multiple times. But I was having a stomach issue. I don't know if you knew this.
No.
And I was one of those I'm afraid to fart. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we were out there. It was freezing cold.
Yep.
We were in a cab, jammed in, all three of us in the back seat, and I was like, oh my God. That was on the way there. And the whole time I held it in, did not fart the whole time. Went back, we got back to Skeets' place, and I blew up that toilet in your tiny apartment. I don't know if you guys knew. It was a small apartment. I was like, oh God, I can't believe I'm gonna have to do this. And it just like unleashed, like everything came out.
God almighty.
And then I just flushed the toilet and saw myself out. And then I don't know if you ever noticed. I don't know if that was.
I didn't know. Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely not.
No. Well
yeah,
done.
yeah. Oh, that was a long night. That was a very, very
Oh,
long
that's
night.
That's
brutal.
unfortunate.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's really cool. So you've pooped at Skeets. He's pooped in my house.
Yeah, I was gonna say we need to like complete.
I'm coming over to
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I'm coming over, just blowing it up.
Great trifecta there. Next one here. Former NBA Rookie of the Year Michael Carter Williams will make his amateur boxing debut on May 29th.
Yeah. Oh.
What's a career transformation in any profession? Here, I'm clear that you can go
Yes,
any direction.
this one was
here.
clear. Yes.
You always think of. So a career transformation in any profession, and wherever you go.
I got one. Yeah, I do always think of Ken Jeong being a full-time practicing surgeon
Yeah, it's
for
pretty good.
years.
Great one, yeah.
For years before deciding to pursue acting and stand-up comedy and all that, and then obviously that's what he turned into. But this guy was like, he was in, medicine school, and then started doing like open mic nights, and then even went to California, was still a practicing doctor and continued to stick with it, and then was like, yeah, I might as well just make this a full-time career. So yeah, this was not about me.
No.
I always think of Ken Jeong.
Yeah. Now he's doing The Masked Singer.
Yeah.
He is? Good for him, man.
Yeah, he's doing it.
He was like the NBA guy for a little bit before they
was,
found Kevin
yeah.
Hart.
It was.
Gotta
Yeah.
love it in. I feel like he told us about tummy troubles once upon a time. Didn't he say he was lactose intolerant when we got him on a video or something?
100%.
We got him on a
yeah.
video?
Yeah.
We got him at All Star or something because he was
Yeah.
around. I don't know what it was, but
Yeah.
He was talking about, God, I can't remember the question, but he definitely was lactose intolerant, and I would have tummy troubles and poop.
Well, Tass asked him for an emergency tummy situation.
Maybe.
Well, actually,
Yeah, well, I saw him in front row for the Nuggets finals game.
wow.
He was hilarious. He was hilarious in just the type of photos he was taking with
Oh, yeah,
fans.
I remember that.
He was great. He was just great.
Don't you always think of him? That career change?
Not always, but
practicing surgeon, my guy.
Yes, it is amazing.
Big change up.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of
get there.
schooling, a lot of money.
Yeah, he's probably like, man, making people laugh is so much easier.
Yeah,
Also, not life or death.
right.
Trey, what do you got?
Kill it in a different way.
You want to be killing in this one. I had never really watched UFC before we moved to Toronto, so I was pretty surprised to see Joe Rogan as the number one
a good one.
commentator after being the Fear Factor guy.
Right.
That was weird. And then he became one of like the 10 most powerful people on earth. That was
weirder.
even more weird. I'm like, Fear Factor sucked. People were eating bugs.
You're
Yeah,
right.
swim underwater for 2 minutes. And now this guy is a kingmaker,
Fear
unfortunately.
Factor, that had a moment though too, wasn't it? That show was popular.
Yeah. Laying a casket full of snakes.
Yeah.
The stunts were cool.
Yeah, when they were like
cool
moving,
stuff.
jumping off of like moving trucks and stuff like that, that was sort of cool.
But he was like, whatever. So, well, you don't think of Joe Rogan when you think of Fear Factor. Like, you think of bugs and stunts.
Yeah,
I,
that's
like,
true.
Yeah, he's just
not
a
like,
generic host. It was
he's no
it was a
Probst.
payday.
He's no Probst.
Well, no.
Yeah.
He was good on news radio. I'll give him that.
Yeah, he was,
True.
exactly.
True.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
JD, what do you got?
I don't know if this is real, but I saw that Andre Agassi is going to be a pro pickleball player. I don't know if that's true, but that's a career change, a big one.
I wouldn't be surprising. He'd be great.
I would think he'd be pretty good.
He'd be awesome. He'd be awesome.
I would think so.
But how long has he been retired?
oh,
playing
a long
tennis?
time.
Been a little
Very
bit.
long
He's
time.
54.
Yeah.
It's not
Perfect
bad.
pickleball age.
So
Yeah.
he's playing the U.S. Open Pickleball Championships.
Okay,
this
I don't
season.
even know what that
It
is.
says he's going to be making his debut with the world's #1 player.
Annalee Waters?
Okay, let me click. through.
scroll
Let me
down.
click
All
through.
this poo talk, by the way, has drawn this one fly over here. So I'm gonna
Annalee
try
Waters,
to-
indeed.
Oh. Wow.
Got him.
I'll be watching
Oh,
that.
yeah! Sorry, buddy. No big deal. You want to see it? You can't
You
really
are
see it.
good at
Oh, you can
killing
definitely
flying
see
I
insects.
honestly
man.
am. That should be my career change.
Yeah.
After podcasting.
Exterminator. But one at a time.
One at a time. You got one fly in your house that's bugging
The
you?
artistic-
Bring me in. I'm like a cat. I'll get it.
That's
Yeah,
great.
you used to get bees as well.
Yeah.
Do you like
I had good hand-eye coordination. I should be a pickleball player.
You're good at pickleball.
Do you like getting carpenter bees? Because those
Oh,
just
God,
hang out
I
one by
hate
one.
carpenter bees, man.
They're monsters. They're
And they
chunky.
come up and they come like look you in the eye.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
You have like a little
They're not
conversation with them, and then they like, yeah.
Yeah. They're tough. Next one here. Even though it started as the best playoff series through 2 games, Nuggets Clippers Game 3 was not on TNT or ESPN. It was on NBA TV, a slightly smaller network. What's something not enough people are seeing? Skeets.
Gotta hand it to them though. They called it. That was a crappy game.
Yeah, they got the good one. Yeah.
You got a better one, yeah.
People, not enough people are seeing No Buffs. Our Survivor podcast, of course. Perfect time to get in. We are having a blast recapping Survivor with Trey, JD, and Nora. It's a lot of fun. You should come check it out. I mean, every Thursday afternoon, chopping it up for an hour or two with these guys, breaking it down. We're climbing the ranks of Survivor podcasts.
Great.
So, yeah, I just think JD does obviously great work producing it. So come check it out. Not enough people know about it.
Great time to get in.
Perfect time.
We're in the playoffs
Yeah.
That's right.
of Survivor
Yeah,
right
there's
now.
like 4 episodes to go. These are usually the bangers here.
Yeah. It's a good season.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Our season or the season of Survivor?
Both. I guess
Okay.
you'd entice people to come watch because it's a really good
Because
Survivor
an
season,
entertaining
right?
season.
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah, yeah.
sure. Good point. Good
It's,
point.
it's a great weekend listen too, I think. It's a good thing about No Buffs is it'll last for a week.
Yeah.
Nice.
A full week.
Yeah. Different than this, what we do here.
So
This is
ephemeral.
stale. This is gonna be stale by 7 p.m. Eastern.
Right.
Well, it's good that it's a Friday. You get the whole weekend to listen. But
exactly.
yes, yeah, that's a good call by you about podcasts in general, including Joe Rogan's. Just once or
Sure.
twice a week.
He's a once or twice guy.
I think
Yeah,
so.
they're 4 hours long though. It's
Yeah,
too
I mean-
long.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going on an hour and 13 here, but that's a third of Joe Rogan's usual show.
That's a block.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I had a
B
friend.
block.
I had a friend tell me, "Oh, you got to listen to this. Or watch this video," is what he called it, because he didn't know it was a podcast form
Right.
with Joe Rogan, and Sad Guru is his name. He's an expert on soil, and an expert on a lot of things.
Try and get to the
But I went
bottom
back-
of these eggshells, eh?
Yeah, no, Joe Rogan was not asking Sad Guru much about the soil. Although he's just trying to he's trying to help soil around the freaking world.
Okay.
Anyways, it's an old podcast. But the whole point of the story was they are long, but you can go a 1.5 JD, you know?
Never.
They'll fly. Yeah, no, never.
I can't.
Strong.
Then they
words.
sound drunk if you go back down to regular speed.
Oh, yeah.
That
they
is
do.
true.
Oh, yeah.
Can't do it.
The worst thing is the music. Like if a podcast is playing a song for a couple and that gets sped up, I hate that. Like
yeah.
it,
Ooh, interesting. A song you know.
Yeah, any beat that's like, it gets sped up.
No, I disagree here. I think that all podcast theme music sounds better in 1.5 speed.
Okay, theme song.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Very
Like,
interesting.
I always listen to the Hoop Collective podcast on 1.5 speed. Occasionally, it'll get switched back to 1. I was like, this song is okay, but imagine if it was 50% faster. It's a banger. But
Yeah, I hear you. There are some in my podcast feed that are like that. Maybe not all. I'm a 1.25 man myself too, or 1.2. 1.5. Playing with the big dogs.
1.2 almost sounds regular now.
I'd see. That's why I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
They're going a
Yeah,
little.
it's good.
I did feel bad once when we. This is a long time ago now. Ben Golliver and Andrew Sharp with their podcast. We saw them in person, and I just kept looking at him, and he was talking to me, and I'm like, God, I wish I could put this on 1.25. I think I said it to him as a joke because I got so used to listening to them at 1.25, and then you're right, JD. Then you get the real time.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, spit it out, man. Holy, it was crazy. But I know people are like that with us too. People are like, oh, I only listen or watch on 1.2 or 1.5, and then you talk to. See, I'm always like, come on, I talk so fast. So it's like other people, slow, smart. Think about what you're gonna say before you say it. Not me. It's like I'm permanently at 1.25.
Fire it off.
So anyway, where are we at?
Trey, let's circle back here. What's something not enough people are seeing?
I think a lot of people actually saw this, but you should search out the video of Ryan Coogler talking about all the different formats that the movie Sinners comes in. It's on Kodak's Twitter page. It is awesome.
I just watched it,
That was cool.
and I'm going to see Sinners in mere hours.
Nice.
That was a great share by you.
Yeah,
it was good.
It will make you want to see the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went and saw it. Literally, I watched 4 NBA basketball games on Saturday, and then went to see Sinners by myself Saturday night at 11 o'clock p.m.
Oh my God.
Wild, man.
It was a banger. Total banger. Watch movies instead of TV shows. That's my other recommendation.
Movies are good.
Yeah, movies are good. They end. They end. You know.
They end.
They're 2 hours, and then you can watch another movie, or you could watch 8 hours of a show.
And so good in a group setting, which I believe he mentioned when he was doing his. He's like, just go watch movies.
on,
Just
man.
watch movies with people.
The community, yeah.
Yeah, the community. Yeah, it was great. It was a great 10-minute. I got to. I had it on my phone, but I put it on my TV. That's so nice too. That's so nice to watch a video on a free. Watch more videos on TVs. That's what I want to say.
Yeah. What was the final verdict though of that video? Because
He's just giving he's just breaking down the
yeah,
options.
but he's like the best. What's the best?
Oh,
way to
he's
watch
like
it?
at the end. He's telling you like these 10 theaters across America, or like these 5 across, and it's like, you know, they're the best of the best of the best. It's okay, but it's not like I'm not going to anything fancy here, you know, this afternoon.
Yeah.
But maybe if the movie's that good, I'm gonna want to see it again in an IMAX setting or something like that.
I'm trying to convince Laura to go this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. Stay the whole credits, as people are saying. You get,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, good to know.
Stick around.
Very good.
Good tip. Good
All right,
tip.
JD, what's something not enough people are watching?
Yeah, I don't know if people are watching this. I'm not really plugged into hype and stuff like that, but I'm watching Mobland and I'm loving it. Mobland. Guy
heard good
Ritchie's
buzz.
new show.
I have heard good things.
It's good. It's really good.
Pierce?
Pierce is awesome. You got Pierce, you got Helen Mirren, you got what's his face, Tom Hardy.
Damn.
Big cast.
It's a great cast. It's awesome.
And what am I watching this on?
Paramount Plus probably.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank
sorry.
God I have Survivor.
Exactly.
You can Hulu, I guess.
Can you?
And you can Prime. You can YouTube.
No, those are tricks tests.
Oh.
And you get in there and you're like, subscribe to
They're getting
Paramount Plus from
Yeah.
Amazon.
Okay. So it looks like watch. Yeah, they have different tabs here on the Googles. Watch show Paramount, but then they just throw in a bunch of ones.
Yeah. They're just trying to get you in.
Yeah.
Trying to trick you.
Come on, Google.
That's rapid fire. Not so rapid, but that's okay. Hopefully it helped make a classic, you tell us, by hitting the like button and subscribing. 3 more games on tonight. Celtics Magic. Boston up 2-0. Still waiting to see if Tatum is playing in that game. It's probably going to be like a game time decision when he goes through warm-ups and all that. Pacers Bucks. Game 3 in Milwaukee. Indy up 2-0. Obviously, I mean, both Magic and Milwaukee, they got to win tonight if they're going to have a series here and get back into it. And then a huge one, Lakers-Timberwolves Game 3 in Minnesota. That's at 9:30 on ESPN. As for the weekend, Jimmy Butler underwent an MRI that revealed no structural damage, but the Warrior star is in serious jeopardy of missing Game 3 with a deep glute muscle contusion. So it's deep in there, and that's going to hurt, and they're going to just use this time to try and get him ready for tip time on Saturday night. That one's on ABC, I think, on Saturday night. Anyway, that's where we're at. A couple injuries already. It is the playoffs, but lots of basketball on this weekend, and we might have a podcast or two over the weekend. Who knows? Otherwise, we're back on Monday. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Our Clipper bro. Hopefully you had a good time at the Intuit Dome. Thanks for joining us, and remember, we might have some podcasts over the weekend. Might be a playback here or there, talking it into existence, sort of. Just be ready for your alerts. You might be alerted.
Notifications on.
Embrace the basketball, people.